So I got into an accident. I was driving very slowly, 2 kilometers an hour, making a right turn, and then a motorcycle out of nowhere hit my bonnet. The guy flew in the air, landed on my bonnet with his bum, and then he ran away with my number plate. Yeah. So around the end of last year, I was driving in the Kilimani area and I was making a right turn. And I had checked, there was no car behind me that was coming, that was attempting to overtake me. In front of me, it was clear. I was making a right turn. And just out of nowhere, this motorbike guy shows up from nowhere, and all I had was one hoot and a third. And then as I looked in front of me, all I saw was on the left side I got hit, and then I saw a human being jump through the air and his bum hit at the front of my bonnet and he was on the ground. And I stopped the car, which wasn't necessarily moving because I was actually just making a turn, and I locked the car very quickly, check on what is happening to this guy. So I come out, help him to sit. There was someone else who was somewhere next there, helped him to sit, and then finding out where the hell are you coming from. Then as I look at him, he has all this dust on him, of course, because he's fallen, but he has no helmet on. I look at where the motorbike is, it's somewhere in a very shallow ditch. So that's where he was. And then in my mind, everything starts happening. So I start thinking to myself, what if this guy is hurt? What if, and so many questions in my mind. 1 minute later, guy dusts himself off. I think he wasn't injured, but then I look at his motorbike and it's there, and he comes to my face. Because he was in a daze, he comes, he's like, where is the owner of this car? Where is the owner of this car? And he comes to where I am and he tells me, you just pay my motorbike. That's all I want. Pay my motorbike. Of course, he's talking in Swahili, and because we want this to get to as many people as possible, that's why we're doing it in English. But it was more dramatic then. So he tells me that, and I'm like, you know what? Me, I have nothing to pay you. Let's wait for the police to show up. And he's like, no, me, I want to get paid right now. I was supposed to be going somewhere. He had a backpack on. I think I took 1 or 2 photos of him, but I can't share them, of course, online. But that's what he was shouting. And as he was raising his voice more and more, then people started stopping. And if you have been in an accident with a motorbike person, just know they take you as guilty until proven innocent. And you're rarely innocent. But 3-4 minutes later, motorbikes are now stopping on the road, and everyone is just crossing to see what has this motorbike person, what has happened to our motorbike person. It's like they have this worldwide association that we never know about. So what started happening, I started seeing people show up, and every motorbike rider would come and say, what has happened here? What has happened to our person? And I started freaking out. And I remember I went back to the car and I went and took my phone, and then I went to the front of the car because I had already seen some of the damage that had happened. So what had actually happened, and I'll share that photo because it's possible. What had actually happened, my whole front bonnet was on the ground. And I remember I took 2-3 photos, and the first thing I could think about was I need to send it to the insurance guy. So I took 2-3 photos, went on my WhatsApp, sent it to him, and then I called him, told him I've been in an accident. There was still no police that had shown up there, and now what do I do next? So he told me I need to get an abstract from a police officer and then send that to him, and then we'll start the claim process. That is away from all the drama that's happening around here. So the next moment I told him, no, me, I'm not talking to you. Let's make this a police case. Let's get the police involved, because I clearly knew I was not in the wrong. Secondly, in a residential area, you're not supposed to be riding that fast. because of the impact that was there. I was almost at a standstill myself. So the impact that was there was because I think he had gone like 50-60 kilometers an hour in a residential area. And I remember thinking to myself, this guy has no case even if a policeman showed up here. So I stood my ground and I told him, you know what, I'm not doing anything like that. So the next thing that happened is he decided that he was going to leave the scene. And the next thing that he did, with support of some of the people that were there, he took my front number plate. And at that moment, I was in just self-defense mode. I didn't want any drama from anyone because clearly I cannot fight. But what I didn't want was then to have another case on top of the one we just have here. So he decided to take my number plate, and it was just malicious in that sense that since I'm not getting anything from you, it's going to cost you to do this. And he left. But at the time that he was leaving, it popped into my mind, let me check his number plates. Maybe that will help. Then I go to his motorbike, very new motorbike, no plates on it. And that was it. So he left. And once he left, the rest of the motorbike people also decided to leave. One had threatened to burn the car, but then I was like, me, I'm not talking to anyone. Because I think even if you try to explain yourself to some of these agitated people, it just makes the situation worse. So when he left, I moved the car from the road because now at this point, there was no person to complain to the police. So I went to the side of the road, parked it there, locked the car, then went to the main roads to start looking for a traffic police officer. And I couldn't see any for a long stretch. So then I called a friend of mine who lives and works around the area, asked him which is the nearest police station around exactly where I am. He directed me. So I now, on that same day, just slowly moved to where the police station is. What you need to understand is if an accident has happened, ideally, the traffic policeman is the one who's supposed to tell you to move your car from the road. You're not supposed to move the car. Yes, it causes an inconvenience to the rest of the motorists on the road, but you want the policeman or the policewoman to see exactly what has happened and then to make a decision on who is on the wrong, because that now helps the insurance companies to be able to follow up. The other thing that I know you should never do in an accident is accept liability, because that's not your job. You are not the police officer. You are not the one who's supposed to decide who is on the wrong in this case. So that's another thing. Then at the case where the other person has fled, which now becomes a hit and run case, you as a person who has now been the first to go and report, you get the upper hand because they are not supposed to have run away. And it helps if you have the registration number of the person who hit you, because if it is a hit and run and you have their registration, then the police can look for them in that area, and their insurance company will now be the one which may be made to pay because they ran away. But in this case, there was no registration that I saw, but I still went to the police station. It was on a Friday afternoon. I went, reported the case, and was told now to come back on Saturday to get the abstract, because apparently the systems were down and it was not possible to get them on that particular day. So I learned there that once you have lodged your complaint, any kind of case there at the police station, they usually now need to upload it onto a digital system. So whatever they write down, the physical abstract, they also have to record the same on the digital platform that they have. This for me felt like this is actually a good thing that it's happening like this, because then that means that whoever now reports this in another station, it can actually be interlinked. I hope that's the way the system works. But on that next day, I was able to get my accident abstract, and now with the accident abstract, now it came now to insurance. So when I now moved to the insurance, whenever you are claiming with insurance, you will need the accident abstract and you'll need to fill in an insurance claim form. So this was pretty seamless for me, because now on Monday morning, I went to my broker, which is my bank assurance, and now I filled in the insurance claim form where you tell the story of exactly what happened during that accident. And then with the abstract, now this original abstract you give now to your insurance broker, because that's what will go on the record of your claim. Then now what I was told to do is take this vehicle to the garage where it will now be repaired. So there are two options here. One is to use your own mechanic or your own garage, which means that you will foot the bill first and then now go claim from the insurance. The second option is let the insurance tell you of an approved garage that they have on their records, and they will foot everything with that garage. So for me, it made no sense. It made more sense for me to take it to the approved place, and then the next thing that happens there before any repairs happen is an assessor actually comes. So the assessor now looks at exactly what has happened, looking at the abstract, looking at the claim form, looking at the vehicle itself. They now break down what exactly needs to be replaced. They now get an estimate of how much it will cost from the garage with the assessor's report. Then the insurance company approves what is supposed to be repaired. Then I saw on my report that the cost of the repairs was compared with the total value of the vehicle. I believe there's a percentage of cost repairs where now the vehicle becomes unsalvageable, and then you would be refunded a new vehicle or given the full value, the salvage value. I will need to check exactly how much that is, but that was really interesting for me to see on the report itself. So what happens after that is the garage now states exactly how long it will take them to finish all this work. For me, it was about 10 days that they needed to take care of all of this. And then after that, once it is complete, the assessor now comes back, checks if the vehicle is okay, and then now the vehicle is released back to you. So the insurance company now does another letter to the garage and states that the assessor has come in, they have checked that everything has been done. You as the insured, the owner of the vehicle, you also need to make sure that you have stated that all these things have been done, and then after that the vehicle is released to you. So that is a simple process of how insurance claims work. For many people, I know so many people say that insurance doesn't pay. In my case, it was a very seamless process. One of the things that I noted in my own experience is the fact that if you want to take insurance, number one, of course, you need to take comprehensive insurance. And in a future video, I'll talk about the different kinds of car insurance that are there. But you always need to have comprehensive insurance. The second thing that you need is you need to have what is known as excess protector, which means that you pay an extra fee so that you'll never be asked to pay anything on that vehicle if it is being repaired. The next thing is inform your insurance broker as quickly as possible. For me, it was a few minutes. So by the time I was even leaving the scene of the accident, I already knew what I was supposed to do. And that gave me peace of mind because I knew the whole process of exactly how it happened. So I was always asking, so what's supposed to happen next? So what am I supposed to do next? All these things are really important. The next tip that I have seen work for me is take your insurance from a bank and not directly from the insurance company. And I'll tell you why. Because banks are acting as insurance brokers, they usually, number one, get you better rates than you would have gotten if you went to the insurance company directly. For most people, that's what happens. Then secondly, when it comes to claims, the bank itself has a whole claims department that can actually help you with liaising with the insurance. If you're the one following up with the insurance company, many times you can get a very frustrating experience. So for me, dealing with my banker, because he needs to keep me happy, the insurance company needs to keep the bank, their client, happy, so they make sure that everything is done quickly. Because all I'd need to do anytime it had anything to do with insurance, I didn't even have to know exactly who was at the insurance company handling my claim. I just needed to speak with my broker. So having a good broker is really important. It's really crucial as well. And then if you're in an accident and a police officer is not there, find out which is the nearest police station near you so that you go and report there as quickly as possible. There are so many times that people have accidents with a motorbike especially, and then if you don't go and report that day, the next day they go and report, and then the case is turned on you. So even if you have any gentleman agreements on the scene of the accident, do not take them. Go to the police station and get that sorted out. I'm going to work on a series just to explain about insurance. It will come up on the channel very, very soon. But I'll see you in the next one.